So, the Ridley is officially out of the bag. By now, everybody knows that Metroid Prime 4 has been scrapped, restarted, and won't be hitting Switch for a real long time. But a bunch of new intel dropped after the official announcement, helping to paint a better picture of what exactly went wrong with Metroid Prime 4. Now, these qualify as rumors because they don't come from Nintendo directly, but they do originate from a very credible source in Imran Khan, who is a senior editor over at Game Informer, so I think we can take a lot of what he says to probably be pretty darn true. He helps detail why development fell apart, what's going on with the Metroid Prime Switch trilogy, and how the studio switches exactly came about. I personally am real bummed that Samus's upcoming, or now far-coming, adventure is nowhere near ready. I was so excited to see the reveal 2 E3s ago, and while I didn't expect the game to hit in 2019, I thought surely it would be ready by 2020 as a way to help bolster the Switch as both Sony and Microsoft prep and reveal their next-gen consoles. But alas, we got some time to wait, so let's dig into all of these details. First off, he says that the big problem with MP4 development was Nintendo's experimental ad hoc development process. It was being made in parts in different countries. Some studios were trucking along saying it was going smoothly while it was on fire elsewhere, and he makes mention that Reggie had said like, hey, things are going good, when clearly they weren't, and Nintendo's idea to split development across a bunch of different places kind of bit them in the butt, probably because they don't have a lot of experience with that instead of, say, Ubisoft, who is used to doing development that way and have had much success in terms of building their games across multiple countries and studios. Khan goes on to state how Bandai Namco Studios wasn't doing the game a whole lot of justice, that it was different parts of Bandai Namco, including a studio in Southeast Asia made mostly of old Star Wars 1313 developers. So that is a huge bummer for that group, the fact that 1313 never saw the light of day, and now their version of Metroid Prime 4 will never see the light of day. And apparently, Retro came in with a pitch, a demo for what they wanted to do with the game, and Nintendo liked it so much that they decided to shift things over to Retro. Now, be aware that this is not the Retro that made Metroid Prime. Yes, it's Retro in name, but most of these developers had nothing to do with the original trilogy, so it's a great PR move to say, hey, Retro's on it, we got it taken care of, we got it covered, but it's basically all different people, all different developers, so it could be called whatever you want. This is a new team making Metroid Prime, but apparently they know what's up and they know what they're doing because their demo did impress. And even though I'm bummed, I always go back to Miyamoto's quote that a bad game is bad forever, a delayed game has a chance to be a good game, and that hopefully is the case here, and it's impacting the Metroid Prime trilogy, which to me might be the saddest part of all of this. Apparently, the Metroid Prime trilogy for Switch has been ready for a long time, and they were supposed to announce and present it last month, probably at the Game Awards. I bet that was the initial plan, and why Nintendo's offering at Jeff Keighley's show seemed slight in comparison to years past. But now they're predicting a substantial delay for that in order to better line up with the eventual release of Metroid Prime 4, which sucks because I was super looking forward to playing ported versions of those 3 games on Switch. Taking them on the go would be super fun and a great holdover until Metroid Prime 4, which I initially thought was a year away and now is multiple years away. So maybe Nintendo will change their mind and mix around their plans and give it to us to tie us over. But Khan makes a great point in stating that if Metroid Prime 4 had gone badly after Other M, after Federation Force, it probably would have been the nail in the coffin for a franchise that hasn't found a ton of success as of late. Now, the recent 3DS game was pretty good, but in general, Metroid really needs a big boost, I think, and so a successful Metroid Prime 4 is mission critical. He also discusses how New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe was apparently on the eShop servers a year ago, and then Nintendo actually sits on a lot of their Switch games, which I think is very interesting. I'm guessing it has to do with ports and things that they prep and get ready. I don't think they're sitting on new games. It's not like Luigi's Mansion 3 is raring to go, but it's interesting that they do kind of have these things done, know their plans well in advance, and then wait so that it lines up appropriately. If you're wondering why Nintendo decided to make this statement today, well, Khan suspects that it's because there is a looming Nintendo Direct, which we've all wanted and hoped for and believed, but it hasn't appeared yet, and maybe they thought that fans would be so bummed to not have Metroid mentioned that they needed to get out ahead of the curve. And that makes sense, although I wasn't expecting Metroid Prime gameplay in a January or February direct, so I'm not sure if that is the exact reason, but it does make sense. And if you are a big fan of Samus Aran, Con says that they're working on more Metroid than just the trilogy and Metroid Prime 4. So there's something else in the works. I hope it's for Switch, maybe even a 2D Metroid for Switch. That would be, I think, a really great way to earn back some fan trust and some fan love. Put out a great Metroid on Switch, even if it's a smaller affair. I've wanted them to do that for a long time, bring their top franchises in almost 3DS style experiences to the Switch, maybe at a lower price point. I think that'd be fantastic. I don't know that that's what they do. Maybe they have a side project, or maybe it's another 3DS game, but alas, apparently there's a bunch of Metroid in the works. So breaking this all down, man, it's sad how this happened. It really is a bummer, especially since Nintendo was trying to do something big and bold. You know, for them it sounds like spread development, have a bunch of studios, have it be this very multifaceted, multi-country project, and it just fell apart with different teams doing good work and different teams not able to find stability or success. And the fact that Retro came in and like pitched and threw together a really cool demo, it's almost serendipitous, because again, this is not the same Retro studios. Most of them ended up going to Armature, but the fact that they get the project and they get to carry Metroid forth and be the ones that either make or break Samus, that's pretty darn cool. Now, a little side note on Retro. Con says whatever project they were working on is either completed or canceled. They were rumored to be working on that Star Fox racing game. Some people have thought they were doing another Donkey Kong. I really hope that it is the former rather than the latter, and by that I mean completed, not canceled. I would be very sad if Retro had a project that they have to scrap or didn't come together, and now they do Metroid. Like, great for doing Metroid. I hope you do a fantastic job, but I'd love to see you guys do something else. So I hope that they have a separate project. If it is the Star Fox thing and that's done, great. If it's Donkey Kong and that's done, great. But I hope it didn't get canceled, whatever the reason for that may be. Let me know in the comments down below, everybody, what you think about all these details, and does this help explain what went wrong with Metroid? I gotta think that Con coming out like this and saying all this as someone who is a senior editor for Game Informer, he's got to have pretty good knowledge and pretty good sources if he's willing to go this detailed and give this much dirt on what exactly happened. And I really hope Nintendo changes their mind about the Metroid Prime Trilogy. I'd love to have that this year. I think it would be a great fit and an absolutely excellent holdover until whenever we see Metroid Prime 4. So give me your take in the comments down below. Everybody have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. I love you a lot. Subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from Nintendo. Sometimes the greatest, sometimes the latest, sometimes the not so greatest or not so latest in the case of Metroid Prime being pushed. But alas, Retro, if you do a great job, we're thumbs up here at SwitchForce. Until then, though, everybody, thanks again. Have a fantastic day. SwitchForce out.